Welcome to Audio Stories of the Paranormal. I'm J.B. Simeon. Thank you for listening. In this episode, we have 5 short paranormal experiences from our community members. I hope you will enjoy them. Please share the Audio Stories of the Paranormal podcast with your family members, friends, and associates. They can find us at www.theaudiostories.com. Okay, let's learn something. This experience is from Pam Johnson of Tulsa, Oklahoma. My sister and I were staying at an old hotel in Odessa, Texas. The building had been in use since 1896. My sister drives between Texas and our home in Oklahoma twice per year to see her daughter at Prairie View University. She likes to stop at this hotel because it has a very friendly staff and is of historical significance. I was glad to make the trip with her this time, but I was kept up all night by the sound of country music and people in boot heels dancing and stomping on the hardwood floor above our room. Didn't affect my sister, though. She slept like a log. The next morning, I asked her, "How could you sleep through all that noise going on upstairs last night?" She said, "I didn't hear a thing." I asked the desk clerk as we were checking out what was happening on the floor above us last night. He said it was an old dance hall, but nothing was happening up there. He said even if someone had been up there, I should not have heard anything because the floor was carpeted. Before we departed, I went up to see this old dance hall. It was just as the clerk had described, a large carpeted space set up with chairs and tables for business meetings. This next experience is from Mike Thompson of Charleston, Virginia. We were having a few beers and playing with the Ouija board in my dorm room on Sunday night. We joked around and someone suggested that we summon Ted Bundy, the serial killer. I said, no, we shouldn't summon someone so evil. Then we heard a disembodied woman's voice say, "That's right," from outside our Ouija circle. Everybody in the room heard it. It wasn't us. We were all young men. This experience is from Cynthia Fury of Cleveland, Ohio. One summer, I visited my grandmother in Mississippi for a month. My cousins were also visiting at the same time. My cousin Kelly and I shared a fold-out couch in the living room. We all went to bed around 10:30 every night. I think she sleepwalks because around 2 a.m. every night, I would wake up and she would be awake talking to me. She would sit above me on the bed with her legs folded. Then for about a half hour or more, she would tell me a story about how things had changed since she was a little girl living in Mississippi in the 1960s. This was in 2010. My cousin Kelly is from California and she was 8 years old then. In the mornings, she didn't remember any of this happening. This experience is from Doug Kawan of Boston, Massachusetts. My son and I were driving to the store to do some grocery shopping. I was stopped at a traffic light. We were the first car in line. When the light changed to green, my son had a fit and started yelling at me, wait, Daddy, don't go." For a few seconds I waited, and I looked at him and I then asked him angrily, "What's wrong?" The car behind us was already blowing his horn. Just then a large panel truck went plowing through the intersection on the side with the red light. I realized that if we had taken off, we would have been in a deadly traffic accident. While I was taking all this in, I heard my son answer my question. Grandpa was yelling at you to stop, but you couldn't hear him. My father, his grandfather, died before he was born. This experience is from Fred Bowie of Bismarck, North Dakota. I live in a house that I purchased at a discount through a government program. I've lived here for 3 years and I've never had a problem. Now this is significant because when I purchased this house, I was expecting it was going to be haunted. If you look at the old Google Earth photograph of my house in winter, you will see a man sitting in a plastic lawn chair in our snow-covered backyard with his face turned to the sky. That man was dead of natural causes long before that photo was taken. His body remained in the backyard for over 11 weeks. Then it was discovered by the gas meter reading man. The weird part is he didn't live alone, and they all knew he was dead. That completes our stories for this episode. Thank you to all the community members whose experiences were included in this episode. Do you have a paranormal experience that you'd like to share? Or would you like to comment on today's experiences? If so, you can submit your information to my story at theaudiostories.com. You can also use the submission form on the homepage at www.theaudiostories.com. Now, before we end this episode, I'd like to invite each and every listener to visit the audiostories.com merchandise store. There's a link to the store on the homepage at www.theaudiostories.com and in the show notes. At our merchandise store, you will find high-quality audio stories merchandise. Your purchase will not only provide you with really cool stuff, it'll provide us with a means to keep producing the audio stories of the Paranormal Podcast each week. So please visit. You are our main source of support. Thank you all again for listening to the Audio Stories of the Paranormal. I am J.B. Simeon. I see you next week with a new episode. Until then, be aware, be cautious, and take care.